Hi, I'm Rich, and as a business broker, I meet hundreds of buyers. Part of my job is to know whom to put forward to vendors.
So I can tell you from experience what it is as a buyer you need to have. I call them the 4 C's, and I can promise you that you will need all 4 to buy your first or next business. Let's start with our first of 4, conviction. How much do you truly want this business? Conviction is what gets buyers through months of due diligence and deal fatigue. It is what gets buyers from looking at businesses to actually buying one. So I need to understand why you want to buy this business. What is driving you? What is your conviction? Now let's move on to the second of the 4 C's, credibility. Are you going to be able to run this business? And it does not mean you need to know everything about running this business on day one. That is what the transition is for. But we need to know you have the ability, team, or pathway to successfully running this business for the long term. Now let's move on to the third of the 4 C's, capacity. Do you have the bandwidth for this deal? Consider the time for your initial business search, market research, sometimes months of due diligence, and eventually you or your team running this business. I have lost some great buyers in the past as they underestimated their bandwidth and exceeded their capacity. And now onto our last of the 4 C's, cash. How are you going to fund this deal? So you might be minted and able to pay cash, or like the majority of deals I see, are at least partially funded with finance from a lender. In that instance, we just make any offers subject to finance. The important thing for now is that you are already in discussions with your bank or SME finance broker. Don't wait until after you find a business you like. To that end, if you want to speak to a specialist SME acquisition finance broker, then just let me know. I am happy to introduce you. An important part of my job is to qualify buyers for the vendor. Like you, they may have limited capacity. So when we speak, let's touch on the 4 C's. That way I can get you financials and in front of the vendor as soon as possible. I am only here to help. The vendor and I hope to meet you soon.